Welcome to the SOP program. This story marks the continuation of the incredible true story of Mendoza's journey. Enjoy.
What's going on, guys? Different sort of placement, I guess you could say. But I needed to stand up. I was tired of sitting at the desk. And I'm just more or less going over, I guess, the week. Going over exactly what I should be doing, running the calendar up. So that's why I literally put my TV over here just so I can visually see it from this spot, but I can also see it from a bigger perspective. But yeah, I guess the importance of this video was that in some cases, a lot of you guys are kind of lost in regards to maybe what you should be doing in your day-to-day or what you should be doing in your week. And I only ended up finding this from one of my mentors. So I thought it was very helpful. I thought it was something that you can actually use and you can actually apply. Now, you probably need to do steps for that. And if you need to hit me up, maybe we can hop on a call just to go over it a little bit better. But this is kind of the finished product, I guess you could say, on me doing it repeatedly for about 2-ish months. I run my entire calendar off of Google Calendar. And one of the things I realized is throughout my time, especially trying to do sales, trying to do the military, trying to just figure it out, trying to get out of that hole that I'm in, trying to figure out my habits, figure out my personal life, I didn't have structure. So what this should hopefully help you get is that structure that you're looking for, so you don't have to emotionally think. Because everything, from what I realized, it just comes down to systems. Everything's systematized. If you can systematize what you're doing in your day-to-day, it'll make things a lot easier. So like if I were to show you real quick, I want to double check and see. So the way I have it lined up, it's down into systems. So first you'll start off with admin. Now, shout out to David. He's one of the members in AST, one of the founders. He basically had an entire session with us where he went over how to organize your life, how to make it a lot easier so you have a lot of structure, you know where everything's at, and it takes a lot of, I guess, the brain mass away or whatever it is. But the way we organize this is down into admin, documents, finances, archived, and then business. Now this could vary for you, but you literally will sit down and think of your life in chunks. So think of your life in, okay, like what makes up a portion of your life? All right, your finances. That could be any sort of tax forms, that could be any invoices that you get, that could be any big purchases that you made that you wanted to save the receipt, regular receipts, it doesn't matter. It allows you to basically have peace of mind knowing maybe when you do your taxes, you have all your invoices secured, you have everything locked in. So say in the case where you're sitting down with, say, a tax advisor, you can give them all that information. You don't have to spend hours just searching for it online. You have everything lined up. So like admin's another perfect example. So admin, what would admin be considered? Admin can be anything. So one of this, like the examples that I have for my admin side is I have my birth certificate, I have any forms of ID, I have any insurance labels, I have any social security card, I have all that stuff, driver's license. Now keep in mind the security side of things might be a little bit tough with this. So what I recommend is keep everything in one area. That's what David said, because one of the things you'll realize is if you have everything in all these different areas, it puts a lot of brain power, I guess, in your mind where you're just like, I'm stressed, I'm trying to figure out everything. But literally, like I have resumes, I have my military records, I have medical records, everything. Just, it allows you the peace of mind knowing that in any situation, somebody can say, hey, can you pull up this record? You have it. It's basically like a video game where you press pause and then you have your entire stats, you have your traits, you have all that stuff. It just allows it to be a lot easier for you. That's one of the things I realized. Now, like as an example for, say, the second one, documents. Documents can be, say, throughout your time, and a lot of people that watch these videos, especially watch my content, they dive into the sales space. So one of the big things is like when you get to a position where you probably want to maybe run your own sales offer, or you want to run something for, say, someone, the contracts that you get throughout the time that you're doing your sales, like your different roles and stuff, honestly, save them to a separate file, because now you have actual contracts that you've had from other different people that you can use as a example, you can use as a reference when you want to make your own. So you don't have to think like, oh my God, like how do I even make a contract? So to give you context, I was a part of a sales role that was very, very, very established. The actual owner was also a lawyer in his past. So he was the one that I believe drafted up that contract. So honestly, I'm getting a contract straight from a lawyer that I can basically go through. If I need to alter it in any way to basically fit my liking, I can, but it's pretty established. So that's what helps. That's what helps. And then another thing with the documents is like, you can do your training. So anything in regards to sales, or say if you're learning a specific craft, any documents you get, anything online that you get that you learn, you could basically put it into its separate files. You could put, so say for my example, right, I'm learning marketing right now. So a lot of what it takes with learning marketing is obviously having different files that you can use, say like the templates. So whenever it comes to sending out emails to, your leads or whatever the case, you have templates. That's what I have on here. So I basically signed up for like a few training courses on how to do it. And so basically what I did is I grabbed all the files from those training courses and I put them in my hard drive. So I can always go back to them if I ever need to. And the same thing with sales. I've been through so many sales trainings that honestly at this point, shoot, I should be. But no, I have a bunch of copies of everything that I've gone through: frameworks, scripts, documents, videos, stuff like that. And it just helps. It helps you just not have to overthink things. And then of course, mindset. That's another thing. So if you want to specifically maybe talk to me one-on-one, we can maybe have a conversation to see how we can set up your structure when it comes to your mindset, because that's a whole different one. But yeah, so we'll have like fitness, contracts, training files, mindset. And then say, like I said, we covered documents, we covered finance, we covered admin, and the business side of things. And then also I recommend an archive section, just because you're gonna get to a point where maybe you might have some files that just don't serve you. So you could just put them there. But say if we were to dive into the business section, you can see here, and I'll screenshot it as well. I have certain clients that I work with throughout the year. Now, these clients, I'm either actively working with them, or it might be a situation where we do it once off every so often. I have my own way of structuring it. But the number one thing I recommend, regardless of what you do, is just set it up to where you have them in number points. So on the name section, put 1/ whatever it is, 2/ whatever it is, 3/ whatever it is. Because what that's gonna allow you to do is basically structure it to where once you filter out basically everything in that drive, you can see everything a lot more organized. It's a lot more easier for you. So that's just some of the stuff we're working on. That's some of the stuff we're working on. That's some of the stuff we're going over. Like I have a personal brand section where I have everything structured down, but everything just comes down to creating systems. And that's the one thing I didn't realize until as of late. And that's why you see a lot of these people, especially the ones that manage a lot of accounts, or manage people's businesses, manage people's marketing campaigns, manage people's sales teams. They manage more than one sales team. Now you're wondering, how can you manage more than one sales team, especially with your time? A lot of it just comes down to them being able to create great systems that they trust, that they know are going to obviously still provide the value. So I'd say aside from that, we're just working out through the rest of the week. What I usually do is I use Google Calendar, and I'll break them down into different segments. So to give you context, like my mornings, I usually get up at like 5 or 4 in the morning, and then from 4 to like 8 or 5 to 8, I treat that as like my bucket filler. So basically with that, it's like my own time to fill up whatever I need to basically fill my cup. So whether that's maybe going to work out, that's going for a run, that's going for a walk, that's maybe watching some sort of movie or something. I established that time solely for that, so I can genuinely feel good about myself. I can feel ready to start the day. And then from there, I get into the rest of it. So say if maybe you're a sales rep and you're working on multiple different offers, and you're trying to figure out how can I balance all the different offers that I'm on and also give them the amount of time that they're granted, that they're worth. So with this right now, I work for a company that does marketing. So I have about from 9-ish a.m. to 1 p.m. time slot cut off where I solely focus on that section. Now, another thing with this is you're gonna realize everything's systematized, because even with this section that I cut off, I have SOP, like a system operating procedure, things I have to check off to make sure I take care of them. So checks and balances. So I put them in that section, and as long as I know that I'm taking care of it, I know at the end of the day, I'm going to get it done. And then if you were to look at that from a longer term perspective, if you're literally running it like that, like a system, if you were to say a month down the line and you were to pull up all the data that you've had from that entire month, you're gonna realize you did a lot. You did a lot, and you have proof to show it. So that's another good thing. That's another good thing, because you can remind yourself, like, if life is not going the way you want, But then you take a step back and you look at your data, you're like, wow, I'm actually doing a lot. Like, I'm doing enough. It's going to come. Now, like, say another example, I work with Affinity Sales. So this is another group. You'll hear them a lot. Usually I bring them up all the time. But basically, they have an entire section cut off. So from 1 to 5 p.m., I basically work on everything sales related. So if there's any people that are interested in potentially joining the sales training group, I obviously talk to them. I give them whatever help they need, whatever guidance they need, just to see if they generally do want to join. But I time that entire section off. And then when I click on this section, and that's what I'm working on today, I'm gonna basically be putting checkpoints in that section to basically say, okay, this is what I need to take care of. This is what else I need to take care of. This is what I need to just overall do. And it just allows you just to know exactly what you're gonna do in your day. Because in this day and age, like and from what I realized, especially with my brain, if I don't have a structure and I'm sitting at my desk and I'm trying to work, my brain's gonna automatically go to the one thing that it needs dopamine for. And that's gonna be doom scrolling. So my brain's gonna automatically go to my phone because I don't know what I'm doing. That's the issue. We have to change that into you knowing exactly what you're doing at that exact hour, at that exact time. And some people might say it's crazy, but at the end of the day, it's like, if you were to say from a consistency point of view, you're not gonna be consistent if you don't have it on the calendar. And that's what I was missing. So Affinity Sales is a huge one. That's one of the sections I do. And then I work for another marketing group. So it's another section where I would sit down, check everything off, do the same thing, okay? And with that, I'll have an end of day wrap up. So I basically break them down into chunks from what you've seen. Now the end of the day wrap up is kind of the same situation as filling your bucket. It's everything that you need to do just to make sure that you checked everything off by the end of the day, you took care of business, and you're good to go. So that's what's good about the end of the day. That could vary. It could be the case where maybe you need to go on a walk again. Maybe you need to have an entire time cut out to solely focus on the 3 different groups that you work for, or the 2 different people that you work for, or just one. You'll have an end of day report where you'll pull all the data. Maybe if you're in a sales group or sales training, or you're on a sales role, you want to pull your end of day report. How many dials you did, how many closes you made, what is your percentages, what is your conversion, stuff like that. Any pre-call material you could send over to the client for tomorrow, stuff like that. You could basically set up at the end of the day, so you don't have to keep on doing that throughout your entire day. And then the number one thing I recommend is, and from what I realized, is planning out the next day. Now, what I usually do is I spend my Sunday and I'll do an overall check on everything that's gonna happen throughout the week. And I make sure I write everything down. But when you're in your day-to-day, you still wanna be sure if there's anything you have to pivot, if there's anything you have to move around, you need to use the end of day to basically do that. Some of the people that I've talked to, they say they're just like, yeah, no, I mean, I planned it out throughout the week, but then, I had a random day where just something didn't work out. And I mean, like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, use your end of day to basically adjust for the next day. If you know you're not going to be able to do that time, even though you placed it in the beginning of the week, change it up. The number one thing is just to adjust, adapt, overcome some of the problems that you might have throughout your week, because they're going to happen. Your entire schedule is not going to be the same schedule that you've seen at the end of the week, and I can guarantee you that, because life is going to throw you a million different curveballs, and you're just going to have to adjust. So that's what we're working on the rest of the day. And part of today was literally, I believe on my Saturday, was to kind of actually make a video like this, just to maybe help out some of the people that might actually need help, that might genuinely need some time out of their day. So like, if you potentially want more help on this, if you want maybe some time, I can probably give at least 15 or 30 minutes of my time at most on a weekend. We can hop on a call, we can go over your calendar, we can go over your schedule, because this is going to allow you so much freedom in your day and so much energy just to know that, okay, I have everything set up and I'm good to go. But hopefully this helped. Let me know if it didn't. But aside from that, we're just gonna kill out the rest of the day. I'm gonna take care of this. And like I said, I use my weekends to basically re-strategize everything, because I base it from the week, the month, and the quarter. So I just make sure I get everything checked off, or I have to adjust. But aside from that, have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. And do you dare to take the next step? I'll see y'all later.